Ukraine is waging war intelligently and coolly, turning the Russian offensive into a bloody and futile exhaustion of forces. This was openly stated by Z-patriot Igor Strelkov, who is currently serving time in a Russian prison for publicly criticizing the Russian dictator. A letter written by Strelkov in prison was published on his Telegram channel. In it, the RF Z-patriot states that Russia is suffering serious setbacks on the battlefield. According to Strelkov, Russian troops are achieving some successes at the front, but they are too small to influence the course of the war. Reading the cheerful reports about the successes of our troops, I smile bitterly, he writes, emphasizing that there is no talk of a real breakthrough. He describes the actions of the Ukrainian Armed Forces as a tactic of trading territory for the enemy's time and resources, where Ukrainian troops deliberately retreat from insignificant positions, avoid encirclement, and at the same time inflict painful blows on the Russian army. The enemy cares about only two things: maintaining the integrity of the front and inflicting maximum losses on us, while causing as few of his own as possible, he admits. The situation is especially difficult, according to him, in the Sumy direction, where the Ukrainian armed forces are actively counterattacking and pushing back Russian forces. In 2 months of the offensive, our successes are minimal, he states, adding that now the initiative is again on the Ukrainian side. He concludes that there will be no victory for the Russian Federation in the foreseeable future. The Russian army was unable to achieve a decisive advantage, and the Ukrainian armed forces have almost caught up with the Russians in combat capabilities. It should be noted that Igor Strelkov is a figure who stood at the origins of the seizure of Crimea and the war in Donbass. However, in recent years, he has become a harsh critic of the Kremlin and Putin personally. He was imprisoned for accusing the Russian dictator of being unable to wage war until victory. Strelkov predicted a counterattack by the Ukrainian armed forces. First, they will take out our air defense. According to Strelkov, the Russian offensive has become bogged down and has not achieved its stated goals. He believes that Ukrainian forces could move into an active phase of the counteroffensive as early as this month. I assume that a counterattack, or even counterattacks, by the enemy is possible, he wrote. As potential directions, Strelkov named Donbass and the area of the Tendrovskaya and Kinburnskaya spits, where, according to him, the Russian army went too far from fortified positions and turned out to be vulnerable. He paid special attention to the tactics of the Ukrainian armed forces, suggesting that before the main attack, the Ukrainian military could launch a massive fire strike against Russian air defense systems using drones, missiles, and possibly F-16 fighters. Before the strike, the enemy will probably try to take out our air defense and other means of fire support with a massive strike by UAVs, aircraft including F-16s, and various missile systems, he added.
At least 3 people were injured overnight into Friday in Kharkiv and Sumy, 2 Ukrainian cities, after Russian drone attacks. According to Associated Press, emergency services were seen in Kharkiv and Sumy dousing flames and clearing rubble following the strikes. The State Emergency Service of Ukraine reported Friday that it had managed to contain a fire that broke out at a 4-story building in Kharkiv. 2 people were injured, local authorities said. In Sumy, strikes on residential buildings left 1 person injured. The strike came after U.S. President Donald Trump said he would meet with Russian President Vladimir Putin even if the Russian leader won't meet with Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelenski. The comments suggested the U.S. and Russia could soon hold a summit. Months of U.S.-led efforts have yielded no progress on stopping Russia's invasion of its neighbor. The war has killed tens of thousands of troops on both sides and more than 12,000 Ukrainian civilians, according to the United Nations. The Russian Ministry of Defense reported on Thursday that its air defense systems shot down Storm Shadow missiles over occupied Crimea Peninsula. According to official information, 8 missiles were downed over Crimea, while some Russian telegram channels reported at least 9 missiles being intercepted. Ukrainian media has published a video showing a column of smoke rising near Sudak city in Crimea. Moreover, the traffic in the Kerch bridge through which Russia supplies its military in occupied parts of Ukraine has been halted. Russian air defense systems were active on Thursday morning in Simferopol, Dzhankoy, Krasnogvardeysk, and Belogorsk regions. On the same day, Ukraine's main intelligence directorate, HUR, announced the destruction of a number of Russian radar systems and a BK-16 high-speed landing craft in Russian-occupied Crimea Peninsula. Posting on its official Telegram channel on Thursday, the main intelligence directorate described the operation as continuation of measures to demilitarize Crimea, which has been illegally annexed to Russia. Evading enemy missiles, combat drones of the Ukrainian Ministry of Defense's Special Unit, Primary, carried out a successful strike on the enemy landing craft of Project 02510 BK-16, as well as destroyed Russian radar systems. Nebo SVU Podlet K-196L6E, the statement reads. Ukrainian military intelligence also stated that after serious losses of air defense assets on the peninsula, inflicted in particular by the Primaris of HUR, the Russian military units in Crimea have started hiding their expensive military assets in dome structures. Another such dome was hit by military intelligence special forces on AI Petri, where Russia had placed the air defense base of the 3rd Radio Technical Regiment, the statement reads. The main intelligence directorate underlined that armed resistance against Russia would continue. It's worth noting that Ukraine's intelligence has intensified its attacks on Russia's military and strategic targets.